Much has been made recently about the clouded future of cash, as most purchases these days are done digitally. Tap and go, it's easy and fast, but there are hidden costs. And in a cost of living crisis, every dollar counts, right? Well, joining us live is Canstar's finance expert, Steve Mickenbecker, now to help you folks. Steve, good morning to you. So just outline for us and those who aren't aware, what are the everyday costs people have to pay when using their digital wallets?
Good morning, Peter. Look, when you use a payment system run by one of the banks or anyone else for that matter, you pay fees. The retailer pays a merchant service fee, and you also will pay a fee. Whether you tap or whether you insert a card, there will be a fee attaching. So be aware of that. Now, there are tricks in it because debit fees are lower than credit fees. And if you go through a merchant system that is linked via MasterCard or Visa, then you'll be paying the credit card fee, which is higher. So you can avoid that by inserting a card. But of course, if you use your phone or you just tap your card, you might be up for the credit fee, which is significantly higher.
Yeah, I mean, it ranges from different things, right? From like a coffee or to bigger purchases. I mean, and that kind of stuff can add up over the course of a year, right? It could equal hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, well, merchant fees are generally, and almost always, a percentage of the transaction, and they vary a lot. Now, on average, the transaction on a credit card is 0.89 for the Visa and MasterCard. A lot more, though, 1.32 for Amex, 1.69 for Diamond. So these are just averages. But merchants can actually be paying a lot more than that. They're enabled to pass that on to you as a surcharge, so the consumer might be hit with the surcharge. That's the extra bit you pay on top of the cost of the service or the item. But if not, inevitably it's being passed on via the price of the good.
Yeah. So does this give businesses, the right to just raise cash and impose hidden fees? And if so, should the ACCC be looking at this kind of stuff?
Yeah, it's not. Retailers are actually capped, so they can't pass on as a surcharge more than they're paying in their fee to the bank. So you're not going to be hit with an unlimited fee from the retailer. The problem, of course, is, though, that the merchant service fees are not capped. So the bank can charge a lot more. And you ask a small retailer what they're paying, well, it won't be the average. It's going to be a fair bit more than the average. So that's where it's a little bit open-ended.
Yeah.
So, it can be tough. And it's $4 billion a year, roughly.
Wow.
Now, that's a lot of money. And that's just the credit cards, not the debit cards.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot, all right. Now, just finally here, we've seen recent problems with Armaguard and the delivery of cash, a reduction of available ATMs, plus you've got hacks, power outages, which means, you can't bank online. Does this show that cash should always have a future?
Look, it might, because one way of avoiding these fees altogether is using cash.
Yeah.
And of course, you can use ATMs for free, pull the cash out and pay cash. Now, what we're seeing now, of course, is that some retailers are saying no cash. And cash will become more expensive because of the Armaguard issue and really because of the declining use of cash. Armaguard has to provide all of that infrastructure for collecting and clearing cash, whether there's $100 or $100 million or $1 billion. So it's a costly business to run, becoming more costly. So yes, cash is a way of avoiding it, but cash is becoming tougher, and the long-term scheme of things looks like cash disappearing. But, maybe long-term, not tomorrow.
Steve, good to have you with us there. Some good insight there, some interesting insight, and we'll talk to you again.